And welcome back, everyone. My name's Tyler Boronski. You're watching my YouTube channel where I interview professional athletes and celebrities. We got a great theme for the interviews this week. We have some of the main cast of Marvel's The Punisher on Netflix joining us. Today's a great one for that. I have Sam Stein, who is a Homeland Security agent in the show, and he's played by Michael Nathanson. So, Michael, thanks for taking the time to come on, and how are things going today?
They're going well, Tyler. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, it's a pleasure. I just finished watching the show last week, so this is a real treat to be able to speak with you about the show a little bit, so appreciate it.
From one screen to another screen.
Yes, sir. Hey, from New York to Florida right now, so I like it. No, East Coast.
Is that where you are? You're in Florida?
Yeah, Florida right now. I'm actually originally from Connecticut, so I wasn't too far away from you. Yeah, I just moved down here for college, so...
Where in Connecticut are you from?
Bridgeport area, if you know where that is. So.
Well, my wife's from Connecticut, and her whole entire family's from Connecticut. So I spend a lot of time in Connecticut.
Perfect. Where's her family?
She's originally from West Hartford, and her mom's family is from Waterbury, and then they've lived all over. But now her folks live in Cromwell. You know where that is, near Middletown?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So I'm like half Connecticut.
Yeah, Michael, just want to congratulate you on this role opportunity and this show, because this is a fantastic opportunity. I mean, and this is right up your alley too. I mean, you're a big Marvel and comics fan, so does it still amaze you that you're part of the Marvel universe now and you're representing Marvel and their show at these Comic-Con events and appearances as well?
Yeah, it's super cool, man. Like, I never thought I would be a part of like a franchise sort of comic book show. I mean, like, so few people get to say that they're a part of these kind of universes, and you know, who can say that they have their own Marvel wiki page? That's a cool thing. And you know, like, yeah, it's been a blast. And yeah, I'm a huge geek. I'm a huge pop culture geek, comics, and I'm a big Star Wars guy. So like, this is all just like such gravy on the mashed potatoes for me, man. This is like the best thing ever. And yeah, it's been a pleasure. It's been a real pleasure being a part of this whole crazy ride.
Oh, I'm sure. Now, when you got cast in this show, though, I'm sure if you're working on like a Marvel project, they really are secretive about, you know, they don't want you guys to leak anything. So was it tough to not tell people that you were a part of the show until it actually came out?
Yeah. Well, yeah, they swear you to secrecy, and you have to be really, really careful not to not to say anything. And yeah, it's like you got sort of the job of a lifetime, and then you literally like can't tell anybody. I mean, I told some of my friends and I told my family, like a very close-knit, you know, group of people who weren't going to say anything. But yeah, I mean, you know, we work under a pseudonym. You know, the show has a pseudonym that we do production under, so no one can really. Although all that stuff gets leaked out on the internet within like 5 minutes anyway, so it's not like it's a big surprise like what it's called. But it was it's crazy, yeah, man. Like yeah, that was the hardest thing, is to like, this is the coolest thing that ever happened to me, and like I can't tell anybody for a solid like 7 months. I can't post on social media about it. And I was just like backlogging all these great pictures I was taking on set and with my friends. So now it's like the next year, if anyone goes on my social media, like, you know, I sort of slowly, I think a lot of the other cast members just do it. We like release all these like cool pictures that we were hoarding for so long, you know. Yeah, you show up to work and like, you know, there's John Bernthal, and there's like the battle van, and there's like Punisher stuff, and you're on the set, and you're at Marvel, and you're da-da-da, and all this stuff, and it's just like, it's crazy. But yeah, now to have the chance to like share it with the world is like this just giant explosion of energy and enthusiasm. So
must be a relief.
It is a relief now. Yeah, totally.
Your character Sam Stein, a lot of your scenes are with Amber Rose Reva, who played Agent Madani in the show. A lot of scenes, I guess, conversational scenes with her. Just you two talking. So what would you say the chemistry was like with Amber, and just your thoughts on her performance in the show as well?
Yeah, she's awful to work with, and she's terrible in the show. I think we should just leave it at that. I don't think there's really any reason to go further.
One season for you. So.
I don't want to embarrass her or, you know, this program. She's awesome. She and I are still very good friends. We're actually she's going to be in town in a few weeks, and we're actually going to be doing a reading of a play that a playwright friend of mine wrote that we're considering doing together in London potentially later this year. Yeah, so like we definitely like working together. We would play husband and wife, which is kind of this is the first time I've actually talked about it with anybody other than like the people involved, but maybe it'll spark some like huge social media buzz. We'll be like, yes, make it happen. yeah, she and I we're really good friends, and we you know, can I say spoiler alert real fast? For anyone who hasn't seen the Punisher?
I was actually going to say for my next question was going to be spoilers, so yeah, go for it.
I'm about to spoil something for everybody. So if you haven't watched The Punisher, turn this off, or watch it after you watch The Punisher, or watch this segment. But but also if you haven't watched The Punisher yet, that's your problem. You should have watched The Punisher.
Yes, it's been out, guys.
So I no longer let's say physically exist on the show, to put it mildly. In spirit, I'm still certainly a part of the show. So, you know, we were pretty sad about not being able to work together anymore on the series, and so we were trying to find a cool project to work on. So it looks like we're going to try to make this happen. But yeah, it was. So there's my answer. I mean, she was great. She's a wonderful actress and just a super awesome lady. And yeah, we had a great time. She and I are very different actors. We approach the work very differently. But I think our chemistry really shone through, and I think, yeah, people liked our sort of rapport.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I loved it. You two were great together, so I really love that
Thanks.
aspect in the show. So like you said, spoilers, so even more spoilers if you haven't seen the show. So maybe click off, watch the show, come back later and watch this interview. But like you alluded, your character, he dies in the show, in the shootout scene.
Dies horribly.
It is
bloodily, epically, I would say.
Oh yeah, epic, very brutal, very bloody. So all
very
that.
Emotional.
You're gonna be okay. Stay with me, please. Help! It's okay. Stay with me. Stay with me, Sam. Come on. Come on. Help! Help!
All that stuff. But
yeah.
I mean, before I ask you about the production side of, you know, shooting that scene, for you watching the show back, how surreal was it to see yourself on the screen with something that crazy happening to you?
Yeah, you know, I've been doing this a while, and I've seen myself on screen doing a lot of weird things. So I'm pretty good at like distancing myself, and you know, I think it's not like a Twin Peaks thing where it's like, oh look, I'm dying and my physical self is in some other realm or something like that. Like I can see that it's fake, and you know, for me, it's more like I hate watching myself because I'm always like, oh, I should have done that scene differently, or I should have done that, or I should have done that. I think it's less about watching me die and more about watching me act. That's more painful for me. I try not to like. It's important to watch yourself, you know, watch your work, and so you can have sort of a critical eye for the next job, and kind of build on, you know, the things you want to improve on for yourself. But yeah. There's so much technical work that's involved in it. I mean, when you're actually shooting the physical stuff and you're in those emotional moments, it feels very upsetting and it feels very visceral. And it's the show doesn't do a lot of CGI stuff. I mean, it does a fair amount, but it's a lot of it's very practical effects, and so you really feel like you're. I mean, there was a lot of blood and there was a lot of stuff going on, and it was all very real in that moment. Real in the sense of it was physically there.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's weird. Yeah, it's weird. I'm not shouting at the screen. You know, I know it's gonna happen, so it's not like a big surprise or anything like that. But yeah, it's I don't know. I think you just sort of get used to it after a while. I think it'd be worse for me watching myself like. It's definitely worse for me like watching myself like make out with people or like have like, you know, sex scenes or anything like that. Like that's way worse. Like that I cannot. That's just like, I can't stomach that.
For sure.
And nor can most other people. Just kidding.
That scene is one of the shootout scene in general is one of my favorite scenes in the show. A lot of people, Punisher fans, love that episode in general. It's one of their favorites. I mean, yeah, talk to me about the production of doing that fun shootout scene. And yeah, when you were going up against Billy Russo, they stuff you with like a lot of those blood packets to make that happen? So
yeah. I mean, doing the shootout scene was great. I had a blast doing all the action stuff on that show, and it's very choreographed. It's highly choreographed, like every move, every sort of a lot of the guys, most of the guys in those masks with the guns kind of shooting at us are stunt guys, and most of the other cops or Homeland Security agents who are on our side are also stunt people. There's a few extras. But mostly stunt people, certainly ones operating the weapons. And yeah, I mean, like I said, it's very choreographed, but it's very, talk about feeling like something's real. Like those guns are, yeah, they might be dummy bullets, but like they sound like real bullets. They are loud. They are, I mean, when you see a bunch of guys in masks with machine guns coming at you, like, that's no joke. Like, it's scary. It's absolutely scary. And then, like, when you're behind and hiding behind things, and bullets are going off, and they're setting off squibs and little, like, mini explosives to make it look like, you know, the bullets are hitting, because the bullets aren't, nothing's actually shooting out of the gun, out of the guns that are being shot at you, but they set up little kind of tiny little pops and explosives everywhere, so it looks like, you know, the bullets are shattering, but all that is spraying over you. So even though you know that there's no bullets coming at you, it still feels like it's all surrounding you. So it's yeah, that was insane. That scene especially, but super cool. Like, you feel like such an action hero. You feel like, you know, that's kind of like that's like my lifelong dreams. Like, I'm in a Marvel show in a shootout against like one of the big villains of all time in Marvel comics. It was just like insane, dude. It was like, you know, I don't know how to describe it. I just, you know, I tell people all the time, being a part of the show, and it's like, I'm this huge fan of all this stuff, and then I get to like all of a sudden be on the other side of it, but I never lose that sense of like, holy crap, like this is like a fanboy's dream to be a part of like this, and then to actually be like in the middle of all the action, stuff like that. And then after that, yeah, the blood stuff. I mean, well, first of all, there was some latex molding that they did pre-episode that I had to go in for, where, you know, certain things would leak out. So it looked like there was actually blood coming out of me, and like that I had stab wounds and things like that. So I was wearing a prosthetic. I was wearing a wetsuit underneath to capture blood. And then I had tubes running through me, through my costume, that were attached to like a blood pump. So there was like a blood team basically that was like feeding blood into my costume and into my insides, so like it was pouring out. And yeah, it wasn't blood packets exactly, and they would pour blood in my mouth constantly, and I were like, you know, it was pretty real, man. It was pretty gross, and it was really cold, and I was lying in that blood for a really long time on very hard, cold concrete in the dead of winter. Yeah, it wasn't fun. It was kind of fun, but also like after a while, I was like, okay, this is not fun anymore. Gotcha. Which helped the scene. But yeah, there's so much technical stuff that goes into it, and yeah, that's the hardest thing about acting. I think people don't realize, you know, it's like you have to be so in the moment and emotionally sort of available. Sure. And, you know, it has to have that feeling of in the momentness, or whatever you want to call it, you know, where it's like it's happening in that, but there's all this prep that goes into it, and all this prep right up until the moment they say action. You have to like completely disassociate from all of that stuff and all the people around you, and, you know, and just kind of be in that moment and be focused and be scared or be sad or be angry or whatever it is. And that's challenging, but it was cool, man. I'm also a big horror fan, so like all the blood and gore and stuff like that, like it was super fun to do. Yeah, I loved it. That sounds super fun, man, for sure. Yeah, it was. So your character, like, obviously, when your character dies off, it is a little bittersweet. For you, knowing that it is a pretty standout moment in the show, and for the storyline, it's a big, I guess, motivational factor for Agent Madani moving forward. Was it bittersweet for you to have your character die off, knowing you're also not a part of the show anymore? Thanks, Tyler. You have a great day. Really appreciate it. Jerk. What a jerk. Who is this guy? Just some random dude. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. No, you know, people have asked me that question before, and look, the only word I can say and I've said this before, the only word I can really come up with is grateful, man. It's just like, I'm super grateful for the opportunity just to be a part of something like this, and I knew that was going to happen from the beginning. It wasn't a surprise or anything like that. Like, I knew when I was getting the part that it was a finite arc that this character was going to have, but I also love the fact that, you know, he has this great arc, and then he has this huge, epic, memorable death, and then it carries on for that last act of the season, and sort of hangs over the series like that, and is such a you know, a big deal for everybody. And it's like, you know, there's worse things. Like, there's many characters on many TV shows I could name, but I won't, because I'll be nice, who like linger on for a very long time, and you don't really care about them. But to play a character that, you know, is sort of in the beginning, you're not sure where he's coming from, and you sort of peel the layers of him, and then you grow to kind of love him, I think, and he becomes sort of a very lovable, like, capable person, and then to have that ripped away, and to play all of that, and then to, to sort of be the martyr of the show in a lot of ways. Like, I don't know, it's really cool, and you know, it could be a lot worse. I could have had a way weaker death, or a way less, you know, exciting or sort of epic thing to happen to me. But yeah, you know, I hope it's going to provide other opportunities for me. It's certainly like sort of made me a little bit famous overnight, which was kind of insane. Like I've been in other TV shows and I've been recognized before, but not to this extent. Like this was like for a solid couple of months here in New York, I was being stopped on the street and on the subway every 5 minutes. And so like, I know that this character is etched in the minds of Punisher fans and Marvel fans. And, you know, through my social media and through other projects that I have going on with, which I can't really talk about right now, but, you know, let's just say my relationship to Marvel and my relationship to that sort of geek comic world is not fully dead. So not to say I'm not saying Sam Stein is coming back in any way. There's no like big, I'm not giving you a big scoop or anything like that. I wish I was. I wish he was coming back as a Force Ghost. That's what I've been lobbying everybody. I was like, you know, if it's Disney. Disney owns Star Wars, so they could easily make him a Force Ghost. I don't see why not. It would take the Punisher to a supernatural level, which it doesn't exist at. Yeah. Still. But no, it's cool, man. It's would I like to be shooting season 2? Of course, but you know, the bright side is it allows me to do other things. It allows me to have the platform and the experience and the visibility for having the Punisher, and then to go on and hopefully do some other great work.
Yeah, you know? for sure. Yeah, I don't think we'll be seeing Sam Stein like in the Defenders, like the hand bringing him back to life, like Elektra or something.
I wouldn't bet on it unless they have a giant, amazing, fantastic idea of a prequel somewhere in their brains, which you never know about. But yeah,
that's true actually. All right, final question for you, Mike.
Sure.
When you watch the show back, all the episodes, what was some of your favorite aspects of the show? Was there a certain theme or scenes or any character relationships that you thought was executed really well and that you thought the show did justice showing?
Gosh. I mean, it's hard for me to single any particular thing or person out because first of all, I knew the scripts beforehand. I knew the arc of the show. I knew what was happening. Mm-hmm. I really thought they executed everything super, super well. You know, I was such a huge fan of Bernthal's in Walking Dead and also in Punisher Daredevil season 2, and I just thought he continued that amazing work. I mean, he's the show. Like he's the heart, the head, the everything of that show. And I just thought his performance from start to finish and his arc, you know, it never got old. It's never one note. You know, I think a lot of people consider the Punisher, he's a complex character, but he's also kind of a one note character, people think, where he's just sort of this menacing mercenary who just goes after, who just is after blood and vengeance. Mm-hmm. But I thought how Bernthal captured the nuances of that character, the complexity of that character from start to finish was just, you know, he's the reason that we were all there. You know, his performance, I mean, I think they all always kind of wanted to do a Punisher, but weren't sure. And then, you know, once his performance in Daredevil was so well received, I think it was a no-brainer. So, yeah, I mean, and it was just great. Like, I thought all the actors were fantastic. You know, I keep in touch with a lot of them, and they're friends of mine. And even Ben and I text. Ben and I are. What's so funny is Ben is like, he's so the opposite of that character. Ben is like the nicest, sweetest guy, and he's actually very gentle.
Okay, wow.
He's like and like that was on that day that he had to kill. I mean, he was like way more broken up about it than I was. He kept up. I don't think anyone's ever apologized to another person more than Ben did on that particular day, and he was so sweet because he and I had a very funny rapport off screen where we were very jokey with each other, and it became sort of my mission in life to make Ben laugh all the time. And Ben's got a great laugh, and luckily Ben found me very funny. So it's just so we were always playing against that when we were on screen in sort of as these like sort of rivalry characters. But anyway, you know, I thought the way they handled the Kandahar stuff was really great. The PTSD stuff was really interesting. I just love the way it was shot. You know, I love the way it was edited. I love the music. All of it. I thought it was just awesome.
Mike, just any social media plugs you want to, I guess, give the fans if they can follow you on Instagram or Twitter?
Yeah. Fans can follow me on Twitter. I am M_Nathanson1. And then on Instagram, I'm Michael_Nathanson. So apparently I'm the king of the underscores. I love that. It's like there's so many Michael Nathansons. They all took my. I tried everything that I could to eliminate an underscore from my name, and I couldn't do it. But yeah, I'm M_Nathanson1 Twitter, Michael_Nathanson on Instagram, and if you message me, you've probably seen some of my social media. I generally talk back to most folks who say hi, and I love the interaction with the fans has been the coolest part of this journey. To be able to like reach out and kind of geek out with everybody, and so my life within the geek universe has only just begun.
Well, there you go. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's awesome that you respond back to all the fans that reach out to you, because not everyone does that. Not everyone does that. So it's very cool you do that. So I'm sure the fans.
Well, look, it's funny. I tell people, like, Mark Hamill tweeted back at me. I mentioned him about something. I did some article and I said something about him, and then he wrote a tweet to me, which was insane. And then like I tweeted that, and then put a picture of me with a lightsaber on Instagram with a picture of his tweet, because like I'm a fan too. Like I understand what that means to the fans to like have someone in the universe talk to them, because it means everything to me when they talk to me. And like it just happened to me yesterday. Like I'm a huge Twin Peaks fan, like massive Twin Peaks geek, and I took a picture of one of my kids wearing a Twin Peaks Sheriff's Department ski hat, and I tagged Kyle MacLachlan, and I was like, hey, hey there, Kyle MacLachlan, I think I got a new partner for you, and he totally tweeted back at me, and I was like,
that's awesome.
I couldn't believe it. Like, it totally rocked my world. So, I think it's just fun to like filter that back in, and like let's all have like a big fun geek out fest with each other, and it's all about the love. There's a lot of not love going on right now in the world. It's nice to like all kind of come together on something like this, this kind of thing.
Yeah, I love that, man. That's awesome. And fans, you can follow this YouTube channel at TVLs512, same name on Facebook, plus interviews, and on Twitter at TyBoronski10. Mike, this was awesome. Really, really treat for me to hear you talk about the show. So thanks for coming on.
Oh, it was my pleasure, Tyler. Have a good one.
Hey, you too, Mike. Appreciate it.